let's move on to Microsoft. They just released their Q3 2024 earnings. Any thoughts there from you? Because I just finished talking.
Well, I think it was, synonymous with some of their competitors. Their revenue was up, probably one of the highest ever. I think it was, 61.9 billion, which outshot what targeted from Wall Street estimated to be, I think, about a billion lower. Their earnings per share were about 10 cents, 11 cents more per share than originally. So it's about 17% year over year. They surpassed really the growth that they were expecting. And there's a lot of things that had kind of a part of that, and that was their cloud, that was their Azure, that was their Copilot, and their gaming performance. So I think that this is a sign of how they're going to be very successful for the years to come, and they're marking 2025 as being a pretty strong year for them. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, my focus obviously is, kind of on the productivity and business process. That revenue was 19.6 billion, which is up 12% year over year. But that growth is significant because it was really focused on Office Commercial, Office Consumer, LinkedIn, which is actually really interesting, and I think kind of could be a separate conversation. Also Dynamics products and cloud services. Copilot Studio, which is for customizing Copilot for Microsoft 365 and building your own Copilot, was up 175% quarter over quarter. So there's not a long enough history for that because it's a somewhat new product, but already has 30,000 customers across industries. So I think we're seeing a huge adoption of Copilot. I think the average revenue per user is increasing with Copilot. They did say, and I don't have the numbers exactly, I'm not sure that they released the numbers exactly, but they had a huge, and I was actually pretty happy and somewhat surprised to hear this, but they had a huge amount of downloads of the Copilot app, the free Copilot app from their Super Bowl commercial. And
the marketing.
Yeah. And, a lot of times we like to say, it's our job to be right. So I can say I wasn't entirely right on this one because I was like, I don't know that ad totally speaks to the audience because it was somewhat, I don't know the word. It wasn't like really straight to the point of like, this is what it can do for you. It was very artsy. I mean, but it's a Super Bowl commercial, so a lot of people watched it. But they did say that they had a lot of downloads from that, so a lot of people using that. And I have to say that I do think, and a funny thing is we heard this at Oracle, when people have a consumer quality experience in their business apps, they're happier. That's the whole thing around Redwood, right? And I think the more that Microsoft can have people using Copilot at home for personal use, free, whatever, they're going to be more likely to use it at work. They're going to be more comfortable using it at work. I think that crossover between home and work is becoming, those lines are being blurred. And I think it's, so it's smart to be reaching out to that user base that may not have their hands on it yet, because the fact is people are going to use it whether it's sanctioned at work or not. So that's kind of what I see in their earnings. And if you don't have anything else to say, we can go on to.
Just one quick thing, so they say that 60% of Fortune 500 companies are using Microsoft 365 Copilot, but it's one of the unique companies that hits business and I guess ERP, CRM, and workplace. So they have the chance to utilize the Copilot throughout. So they might have a little bit of a leg up because their customer base is more spread out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually will be releasing a earnings report research note this week. And I have a little bit more detail about how it's being used, who's using it, and some
Cool.
more details. So I don't want to give all that away just yet.